Ulduar is finally here, so let's quickly go over what you need to do for every boss on 10 or 25 normal mode. First you will get into vehicles and destroy towers and kill mobs towards the first boss. Once there, the gate breaks and the flame Leviathan is the first boss. You fight this from the vehicles and it's a very easy fight. The catapults are the main DPS, the siege engines are tanks, and the motorcycles drop healing. Run away if you get targeted or use a shield and keep circling around the area until it dies. For Razorscale there will be 2 or 4 harpoons depending on the difficulty. Adds will spawn from the ground, focus them down. Once all harpoons are repaired, use them to pull the dragon down and focus it. Get behind the boss, then Razorscale flies up and knocks everyone as well. And you repeat the first phase until 50% health, then the boss will remain down and you need to finish her off. She will also put fire on the ground, so don't stand in it and keep tanking her in a circle. Ignis the Furnace Master needs to be moved in between the 2 pools of water and have him drop his flame area in 4 spots in a square. He also picks up random players and puts them in his oven, so heal them up until they come out. And when adds come, a tank should take them in the flame area until they have 10 stacks and then move them in the water to one-shot them. And keep repeating this until he's dead. XT Deconstructor puts 2 bombs on players, Gravity Bomb and Light Bomb, run away from the raid with those. And at every 25% health, his heart comes out. Don't destroy it if you don't want to activate hard mode. Adds will spawn as well, the big ones you want to focus and tank, and the small bombs should be slowed and AoE down by ranged. He also casts Tantrum that deals an AoE damage to the raid, and that's about it for the fight, just keep repeating it until he's dead. Iron Council is a 3 boss fight, focus them by how big they are. Go for the tallest first, then the middle one, and then the smallest one. Tank the big one apart from the other 2, and the small one also needs to be interrupted constantly for his chain lightning attack. They will also drop blue runes, you can stand on those for a damage buff. The big boy will put a debuff on the tank that needs to be dispelled. Once the big one dies, split them again and focus the medium one, but still interrupt the small one that now has a new spell too. There will also be green runes spawned, run away from it, and when the small one does overload, run out of it. Then the small one will start flying around. Spread out when he does this, then finish him off and keep kicking his casts. For Kologarn, tank keeps swapping every 2 stacks, and you need to focus his right arm, so on your left. After breaking it, kill the adds that spawn and focus his body. Repeat breaking his right arm, or if you are close to killing him and the left one is low, you can do that too, but he does more damage. And if both arms break at the same time, he deals even more damage. And he also marks people with an eye beam, so move away from the raid with it. Auriaya is the crazy cat lady. Everyone should stack up near a wall on the left or on the right and wait for the tank to pull them here. Then focus the cats down with AoE. She also casts Mass Sphere, so a Tremor Totem would be nice to have. There are more small cats that you AoE down and a big cat that has 9 lives. Stun and kill it and it will drop a damage zone, so move out of that. Everyone also needs to stack in front of the boss together with the tank to share the damage of a yellow cone. And keep repeating this and keep killing the respawning cat until the boss is defeated. For Hodir, free the iced people for buffs. He is doing a stacking debuff, so keep moving to diminish it and not get frozen. For Flash Freeze there will be big pools on the ground, wait for them to transform, then go into them to not get frozen, and then free the plebs that did get frozen, and repeat until he's down. For Thorim, split your raid in 2 even groups. One remains in the middle and fights adds, and the other group pulls the lever on the left and goes up to him from that way, fighting guts on the way as well. Avoid the middle zone in the final room, and once the up group reaches him, he will come down. Tanks should swap after unbalancing strike. Dots will appear from a direction, that is the part where he will throw a lightning attack, so move out of that area because he's going to do a cone lightning attack there. And that's about it, keep repeating until he is defeated. For Freya, first kill the mini bosses across the room, they will also drop badges, then start the fight with her. It's mostly an ad fight, with 6 waves. The big 3 adds need to die at the same time when they show up. The tree gives silence to everyone that is not under a mushroom, so move under one to attack him. And the many small ones explode on death and can't be taunted, so try not to kill them too close to each other. And also trees spawn during the fight that heal them, so destroy them as quickly as possible. After all the waves are dead, she no longer heals herself and you can focus her. She doesn't do much, so just finish her off quickly. Mimiron is a longer fight with multiple phases, you only need one tank here. In the first one you face a Leviathan, tank it in the middle of the room, it will cast a shockwave that you need to run out of, and there are mines on the ground to avoid too. And he casts a laser at the tank, so heal them up. In phase 2, spread out and melee go behind the cannons and keep moving so you're not shot at. He also does purple lasers across the room, so move out of its line of sight and avoid the rockets too. In phase 3 you face the head, ranged DPS should just focus this while melee focuses the adds on the ground, and there are also bombs, so range should focus those. They drop magnets that you can use to pull the head down and everyone can focus it then. And in the final phase you fight all 3 previous bosses at the same time, spread out again, and you need to kill all 3 together or they will repair. Melee should focus the bottom one, ranged the top one, and both should cleave the middle one as well. He still does the abilities from previous phases, so watch out for those two. General Vezax has a ton of health. He prevents natural mana regeneration and keeps casting a fire AoE attack. Interrupt this every time. Ranged get targeted by purple meteors that leave a purple puddle behind. Ranged DPS should stay in this for more damage. Saronite vapors also spawn. When killed they leave a green puddle behind. Healers should get into this to restore mana, but don't stand in it for too long. Get 4 or 5 stacks and then move out. He also casts Mark of the Faceless on a random player. Move out of the raid with this ASAP, since it heals the boss if you are close to other players with it. And the boss also enrages for a few seconds constantly. The tank should kite him when he does this to avoid heavy damage. For Yogg-Saron, ranged and healers should stack together and melee and tank should go to Sara. Avoid running into the green clouds, they will activate one by one and spawn mobs. Tank them in the center of the room since they need to die next to Sara. When they die they also explode, so melee should move out. After killing 8 adds next to Sara, she drops to 1 health and the big boy's head pops up. Here the sanity mechanic is introduced. You will passively lose sanity during the fight from messing up mechanics. If you get to 0 sanity, you will lose control of your character. There are 3 types of tentacles that also need to be interrupted. The big crusher tentacles with a pointy end, they need to be tanked and nuked by ranged. Corrupt tentacles are the smaller ones that melee should focus, and the constrictor tentacles that are longer and slim, those will pick someone up, kill them fast before they engage the hentai ability. Sara also shoots lasers, so avoid those, or a malady of the mind dot that you should move out of the group with. And if you get brain linked to another player, you will also have a beam in between you. Get close to each other to turn it green. You can also regain sanity by sitting in the green beams in the room. After a while portals will open around the boss. 1 player can enter each portal. Put your top melee DPS in them. There are 3 locations that need to be cleared of neutral mobs that also spawn tentacles upon death that also need to be killed. And avoid the line of sight of the skulls, so don't look into them, since they will drain your sanity. After clearing a room, get back to the portal and you'll be teleported to his brain, where you have 60 seconds to do as much damage as possible. Once the brain reaches 30%, the final phase happens. Adds will keep spawning again, so cleave them together with him. Don't look at him or he will sap your sanity when he's doing a lunatic gaze, so face your character away from him. And that's about it. Of course there's also Algalon, but don't worry about him yet.